What's up YouTube, Gator got 108. This is a new segment I'm trying out. It's called How to Play, and it's gonna have a deck name. So this first one is How to Play GBs. Basically I'm just gonna go through and say what cards you should run and like how to use the deck correctly. First off, really quick, I'm gonna be going to a Tate's card shop on Saturday, probably. I'm gonna be wearing this backpack, so if you go to Tate's and you see me, talk to me, say what's up. So I'm going to tell you guys how to use GBs properly, and I'm going to start out with the monster lineup of GBs that you should run in the build. You want to run like anywhere from 8 to like 12 monsters. If you run Proving Grounds though, you could run like a couple less monsters. But this is like the monster lineup I like to use. Sometimes I put in 2-week Hest. But this is pretty much all the GBs that are at least useful. Alright, so down here you got your beaters right here that like tag into stuff. So you basically want to use like your Laquaris or your Darius or your Hump and stuff to tag into these guys. These are like your little, I call them action GBs because these do something. Bestiary, pops the back row. Ridiari removes a monster. Murmillo pops a monster. And Secutor, he just sits there, you wait for next turn, you attack with him, and then you get pluses off of him. And, but like mainly, you want to use these guys, and if you need to, you could tag into your action GBs. Or you could just tag back into like Laquari, like you summon Darius, then you go to Laquari. Laquari is always your tag-in that you could do if you don't need any of this stuff. Because he comes out 21 beater, which is pretty good, and Hump is 24, so these are the ones that you want to tag out if you can't use any of these to the best of the abilities. Of course, Ikest, you get back your Chariot and your dead GBs. Darius, you get back your like Bestiary, you contact, or you get your Laquari, go for Heraclinos. Sand Knight, you don't use his effect too much. I found that I use this effect sometimes when I have a Test Tiger in my hand and then I search out for Chariot. It's a pretty good +1, it's decent. And this is pretty much your GB lineup. Oops. Maybe if you really want to, you can run 2 Hump or 2 Ikest, but I found that this lineup works perfectly. Alright, and some other cards that speed up the deck. Prisma. Prisma is just amazing. You got Rescue Cat, of course, and your staple 3 Test Tigers. You need Test Tiger in this build so badly. But basically, Test Tiger, this gets you any GB with the effect. So let's say you got Murmillo, you just tagged in Murmillo off of your Hop, and you pop their monster. And they have no cards on their field, so let's say you go Test Tiger, you tribute the Test Tiger, Murmillo goes to the deck, and then you could get another GB, like Secutor for example, and he gets his effect, so then let's say you attack with Secutor, your opponent takes 400, and when you end the battle phase you get 2 GBs with your effect, so let's say you like want to get those 2. And like it just goes to show you Test Tiger is really ridiculous. It's an amazing card, you have to run it. And worst case, he's always a free special summon and you could attack for 600. I've done that before against like skill drain decks. Use these guys as like little beat sticks. Alright, and then of course you got Rescue Cat, the infamous Rescue Cat, the +1 in the deck. You could get your 2 Sand Knights, which is always good. You could of course get Test Tiger and a Sand Knight. You could get 2 Test Tigers for some strange reason. I've done that before though. And you could get Arabellum, but we'll talk about him later. And then Prisma. Prisma's a beast. You use his effect, you reveal either Gyzaris or Heraclinos. Let's say you reveal Gyzaris, then you get to dump your Bestiary. Bestiary is like amazing in the graveyard, by the way. And then if you have a Test Tiger, you could special summon the Test Tiger. He's treated as a Gladiator Beast, so you could tribute the Test Tiger. You send Prisma to your deck. And then you get the Gladiator Beast Darius, and he gets his effect, and you get Bestiari, and then you contact. So it's basically turning one... Like, you get 2 GBs off of that play after you tag out the Gyzaris, which is also really good. Just comes to show you that Prisma is a beast. And also, like, let's say it's second turn, and last turn you had Laquari. You summon Prisma, you could always dump, and then you contact Fuse for Gyzaris. Or you can use his effect to reveal Heraklinos and dump your Laquari. And then you could attack, you tag out Laquari. Laquari gets a Darius, you get Laquari off of Darius, and then you contact for Heraklinos. So that's just some combos that speed up the deck. Also some other good cards to use. Airbellum, because you're running Rescue Cat. And he has a really good effect. Your opponent goes -1 when he attacks directly, which is really good. And he's, of course, your Synchro. Sangan, you need Sangan. You could search out your Bestiar, your Rescue Cat. Or you could search out your Summoner Monk. Summoner Monk searches Rescue Cat as your main target, but if you really need to, you could get Prisma, Bestiari, or like Laquari and Contact or something like that. And I'm starting to see Cyber Dragon run a lot more. It's a really good card. One thing that like you barely use, but you can use if you really need to, you could use Prisma to reveal this dude, and then you dump your Cyber Dragon, and then he gets treated as Cyber Dragon, so you could contact fuse him and bring out this guy. I've like never done that, but just in case, the option's there. Alright, so that's pretty much all the monsters, fusions. These are like really key to Gladiator Beast. Well, you don't really count that, but Gyzaris is ridiculous. You contact fuse your Bestiari and another GB. He comes out, he pops 2. And then after he attacks, you could tag him out for 2 more GBs, so that's really good. One thing I always recommend is if you're going to contact, like let's say you have Laquari on the field, set your Bestiari because then it won't get bottomless and you can still contact fuse. And Heraklinos is basically your win condition. You get a Laquari and 2 other GBs and then you contact fuse. And then like if your opponent activates a spell or trap, you dump a card and then it's negated. So that's really, really good. Alright, so that's pretty much all the monsters. Some spells and traps I highly recommend. Chariot is always an amazing choice. Negate a monster effect, and you could recycle it with Equest. Really, really good. Of course, this is like the spell and the back row destruction you want to run. You need like all 3 of those in GBs. Book of Moon, you also need at least 2. I like 3, but 2 works perfectly. The hot new tech Respite, you send 2 GB cards and then you draw 3 cards. So you could send like your Secutor or Mermello that you want in the deck. Econs are decent. They're going to mirror match. I like tech. This is a pretty good tech right here in Domino Gladiator Beast. You basically, the GB gains 500 and then you could recycle this with Equest. Or and you could also dump it with Summoner Monk. You could dump both of these with Summoner Monk, so it's pretty good. And then you got, well, Smashing Ground's also a good choice, but your traps, you need at least 2 Wabakus, 3's good also. Bottomless, staple, you guys know that already. You know, some staples down here. Mirror Force, of course, you need, but I'm using it, that's why it's not in here. And that's pretty much it. So that was a first of my how to play series. It's how to play GBs. It's a great deck, really easy to make now. Like you could get this deck for like about $100, maybe more, like $120 I think. That's what I value mine at. So, but if you have any questions about GBs, you could leave a comment. And if you guys like this series, put a comment down there. That's it. Peace, YouTube.